boy.
Ow. Psych.
I don't know why it reset on itself there.
I was ready to go again, though. I mean, it's so good.
Hollow Cult, what is happening? It's Wednesday again, and we are here with our very special guest, the Squatcho Man himself, Mr. Jeremiah Byron from the Bigfoot Society. So everybody give him a big Hollow Cult welcome.
Hello, Hollow Pals. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're stoked you're here, man. We are stoked you're here.
We've been trying to plan it. It's been in the making. And as everybody knows that listens, we are not good at having ourselves together. So here it is. Hopefully we get some good Squatchy-esque calls in this evening.
Yeah, it's
I'm
usually a grab bag, man.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
We've had some banger Squatch calls on in the past. Some pretty rad ones.
You really have enough to make me be like, wow, that's a really good Squatch call.
I'm going to, before we get in too thick, I'm going to go ahead and plug our stuff here. So, first, 40 in Airwaves. I know you guys have all heard me talk about it over and over again, but that is October 6th, 7th, and 8th at the Inn in Ohio Northern University. It is a live podcast conference. It's there's going to be panels, meet and greets, pancake breakfast, $50 for the weekend. Go to the link tree. You'll get all the information. That is us, Uncomfortable, Cryptids of the Corn, Appalachian Intelligence, the Bump Podcast, and Kill the Mockingbird Podcast. It's gonna be an awesome time. Meet and greet, whole nine. So be sure to check that out. I also want to take the time to shout out our brother Eric from Uncomfortable. He has his Bigfoot and Brews 2 coming up. That is Saturday, September 9th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if you are in I'm probably not going to pronounce this right, but the Dowagiac, Michigan area, definitely check out Bigfoots and Brews. It's going to be an all-day event. There's going to be speakers on site. Let me check here. I know Robert Kreider is going to be speaking and Stacy Brown. I know it was really successful last year, so if you're in the area, definitely go check it out and support our brother Eric from Uncomfortable.
Hell yeah. Say Jeremiah's already got respect from Twiz.
Oh.
Dude, Twiz, Violent J, we are buds, man.
That's
I'm
awesome.
his Bigfoot pal now. It's awesome.
That is awesome.
I can give you a little behind the scenes of something that almost happened. So you
almost joined ICP.
Well, I have joined ICP. No,
Good.
He was trying to find a Bigfoot festival to go to over the summer because he had a lot of free time, and he almost went to Hocking Hills.
Wow.
He almost did, but he had to do SummerSlam in Detroit at the last minute. So
priorities.
He had to cut.
Right.
So.
That'd have been awesome.
I was watching little snippets of the interview. He looked like he was having such a good time, bro. It was classic.
Yeah. It was, oh man, there's so much that I had to censor out of that, because I mean, you can tell where there's parts of the interview where he's getting really amped, and then he's like, and nothing, and you're like, okay, he totally just said that something in German. I cut it out. Yeah, that totally happened.
That's kind of the route I thought that it was gonna go.
I didn't want to get demonetized on YouTube or something.
Yeah, it happens.
That.
Yeah, well,
it
does happen.
So, what kind of weird stuff we got going on, Hollow Cult? It's a fresh week. Thoughts going out to everybody caught in the big storms in Florida. That looks like it's not a really good time down that way.
Goes to show, I didn't even hear about it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty bad. I heard all kinds of conspiracy theories about them holding people in Florida. I heard one video where 80% of the gas stations got bad gas, so people can't get out and all this shit.
I saw that too, dude. Yes, no, it's for real. Well, allegedly.
Right.
On TikTok.
For real on TikTok. But
That's crazy. But it's no different than the Maui or the Canadian stuff.
Oh, the like blue paint stuff.
That, and then just the fires in general, and then the whole disaster. Like I was listening today, and the guy in charge of setting off the sirens in Maui, he didn't, and he gave a reason why. And that reason, I mean, it's a valid reason. The reason is he didn't want the residents to take off and start running up the hill into the fire. That's why he didn't sound the alarm.
Wow. Wild, dude.
Yeah. That shit was so hot, it liquefied glass. Which is crazy.
That's hot.
Dude. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, like the glass blowing ovens run the same as our Coke ovens, about 2,000 degrees. And
Oh, I didn't know they were that hot. I knew it was hot. But
It's
it
hot,
was that
hot.
fucking hot. Jesus.
it's super hot.
Man. I saw now this is way away from Bigfoot right now, but I saw an interesting video the other day talking about, which I didn't even know this was a fucking real thing, but this dude found, I don't even know what year it was. Might be old news to a lot of people, but it's new to me. This dude found a giant labyrinth in Egypt.
What?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, dang it, I wish I could remember the exact details. But they rumored this labyrinth to be so big that you could basically fit Egypt in it. And there's been old rumors about it. And this dude went looking for it, and he ended up finding it. Now it wasn't that big that you could fit all of Egypt in it. However, it was like 3 football fields big, this labyrinth. Like it's a legit labyrinth. And he decides, like, once he finds it, I guess the authorities caught wind of it. They shoo him out of there and then completely ban him from coming back to Egypt ever. And then he's like, well, fuck it. Like, people need to know about this. This is a huge discovery. So he goes and tries to have a press conference on it, and no press shows up at all whatsoever. They're like, nope, not touching it. Done.
That's like
How
the
crazy
same
is that?
the same thing that Will from Incredible History was talking about.
Yeah.
Like when they were down there in Atacama or wherever, and they found the 200,000-year-old footprints, and the essentially the authorities came in and shut everybody down, guns and everything. Just like, hey, no more, no more.
Dang.
So
Dude.
crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Like we were talking, it makes you wonder what, like, altering history like that. Like, what do they have to lose in coming out and being like, well, yeah, we got to move the timeline back 100,000 years. We got to move the timeline back 200,000 years. Like, the fact that they go so far beyond to just completely cancel that out, the whole thought process is just crazy to me. Like, what would be the reasoning behind it?
Isn't there a thing where, and this is just, I didn't even research this, so take this with a grain of salt, but down in Texas, like it's so hot and like everything's drying up that they're finding like new dinosaur tracks everywhere, and
I did see
trying
that.
to like cover it up or something like that. I don't know if that's legit, but
I don't know if they're
I
trying
don't
to
cover it up.
Hmm.
Why would you cover it up?
Yeah, why would you do it though?
I know.
It doesn't make sense to me, because essentially they have come out and said dinosaurs are real. They have
Right.
bones, but now all of a sudden there's tracks, and they're gonna be like, go away. Go away. There's nothing to see here, guys.
When I was doing the episode research on the episode that I've not done yet on all the old ass footprints, there is a track of dinosaur footprints in Texas that are intermingled with what they believe to be human footprints. Like the human footprint is down and the dinosaurs stepped on top of it, as almost like the dinosaurs tracking after it. So maybe it's something in that vein.
That's the stuff they want to cover up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, it falls back to the age of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
in the overall timeline. I did see, which I'm going to look into, there is a a declassified CIA document called Adam and Eve, and it tells of the world's extinction. And it also claims in this document that there have been at least 6 civilizations to be on this planet, and they all went through an extinction level event.
Which, I mean, would not be that shocking. Like,
No,
the whole gamut of the way people come at history is so backwards. You know, like, if you say that the Egyptians had technological help from aliens or whatever to build the pyramids, people lose their mind because they're like, no, the Egyptians did that on their own. Like, they were fully capable of doing that. But then if you say, well, then the Egyptians could have easily made it across the ocean to America thousands of years before Columbus, they're like, that's impossible.
But what if America is Egypt, dude?
Oh.
I
Huh?
don't know.
Huh?
Oh.
The game has changed.
Oh.
throwing wrenches in the system.
I'm trying to catch up with all this crazy conspiracy stuff. I saw a thing where it was like, what if America is Egypt because Atlantis is right off the coast, and once I don't know. I'm bad at conspiracy stuff, guys. I'm really trying.
We were buying it, bro. Just keep.
You were on board.
Keep rolling.
Keep rolling like Limp Bizkit, dude.
Just create an entirely new conspiracy out of it. Just hit it hard.
That's what we do tonight.
Might as well.
That's right. That's right.
We're creating
Graham
alternate
Hancock
history.
on.
It is weird, Steve. Like what you're saying about, like, I would find it way more logical that they could sail across the ocean to a new land versus build. I mean, I couldn't fathom, and I've never gotten the opportunity to see it in person. I probably never will, but I can't even fathom what it takes to build the pyramids. My brain it just does not function like that.
The
At all.
assumed amount of manpower was just so ridiculous over so many years. Like, it was just out of bounds.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I don't know how to deal with the megalithic stuff, or like the huge stones in Montana. I think there's a megalithic thing up there. I saw one dude. I don't know, man. That just, what did they put, like all these trees on the ground and roll the stone across? I don't know, man. Or maybe it was aliens, guys.
It was definitely aliens.
Had to be.
I know.
I'm going with aliens.
I know.
If they couldn't sail across the ocean, then they sure as fuck couldn't build the pyramids. So it had to be aliens.
Yeah, that's true.
And aliens are known for reseeding, so they probably picked up Egyptians from Egypt and then dropped them off in America.
And Atlantis.
Well, obviously. At this point, that's established.
Solved. Case
But have you
Wrap
ever
her up.
thought? Have you ever thought of, like, if there is another extinction event, people are gonna have no idea that we were even here because all our stuff is in technology, and it's like the Georgia things are blown up, so they're not here anymore either. So it's like, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, they did.
Our stuff is all in tech.
Well, they talked about, and I don't know if they ever pulled the trigger on it or not, but they talked about building I don't remember where it was going to be put. I think it was out in the desert. They were going to build an obelisk. I think it was jet black.
Ooh.
And it was going to be tech, but it was supposed to be housed in like some ridiculous thing to keep it safe. But it was going to have all of human history in this obelisk, that if there ever was an extinction event, and whether we progressed again or somebody from a different planet came, they would have access to all of human history, whether it's the narrative or not, but, and whether they ever ended up pulling the trigger on it, I don't know. I should probably look into it at some point, but
could you imagine a future advanced civilization finding the remnants of our civilization and trying to decipher emojis the way that we decipher hieroglyphics.
Dude, totally. Oh,
Like
man.
they would be like, they are obsessed with penises and poop.
Yeah.
So much.
So were the other civilizations, though, if you look
yeah,
into it, man.
yeah.
Like,
That's true.
right?
That's true. I mean, throughout time, dudes have always been drawing dicks on everything. So
True.
it's just kind of a natural thing.
Forever.
Human progression at its finest.
Yeah. Keeping up with the chat here.
The chat is wild.
It's always going 100 miles an hour.
It's hard to keep up with some days. I did hear a rumor that you just got back from a boots on the ground Bigfoot investigation.
Yeah.
If we're allowed to talk about that or not.
I can't really. So, oh man. So I knew you were gonna pull that out too. So here's the thing. So Tate is making another documentary episode, and I don't want to like.
You signed an NDA.
I'm just being a nice dude. You know, I don't want to be like, hey, guess what, everyone?
Which is code for he'll get disappeared.
Yeah,
You can
totally
respect that.
disappeared. But
You can respect that.
I will say this. The amount of Bigfoot, the amount that I believed in Bigfoot, which was 100%, has gone up way higher because of this trip.
Awesome.
So
I love
it. Oh, dang, dude.
Which that's exciting.
Yeah.
I was
exciting
going to
to hear.
ask. I'm like, do you believe more in Bigfoot now than you did before you meant it?
That's
Hammered
awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, it's freaking wild, dude.
All right.
Wild.
So Jeremiah, since you're slowly turning into one of the Bigfoot guys.
He's hammering it.
He is hammering it, man. So mad props for that. But where do you stand on Bigfoot in general? Woo-woo, physical, what we got?
Oh, sure. So on my show, Bigfoot Society, which is right now like pretty much focused on Bigfoot. Like I talk to people all over the place, but personally, what I think we're dealing with is some sort of like undiscovered great ape. So like if you know about the NAWAC guys, North American Wood Ape Conservancy, I am pretty much close to those guys the same way. I think that we've got some weird big old ape that's really good at hiding and is all over the place, which is crazy to say out loud, but the major evidence that I lean on for that is how the Olympic Project, they have their area with all the nests in it, you know, and they brought a primatologist from a zoo up there to check it out. And the primatologist was like, hey, all these nests are exactly like our great apes make in our zoo. And so that alone, you know, makes me kind of think, all right, we got something going on. But yeah, just the personal thing, you know. But
I think I can fuck with that. I never really thought about it from that aspect of the building the nests. I don't know. I just have always let that kind of slip on by me. But I do respect that thought.
Now, on the other hand, devil's advocate, I don't know how to explain the stories I get where it's like I was in the woods and I saw a blue orb in front of me, and then I hear a noise and look behind me, and a Bigfoot has his hand out controlling the orb like David Bowie from Labyrinth. Yes. Right?
Get the fuck out of here.
He's doing like this thing, man. Like I don't know how to explain that away because I get those all the time. So I don't know.
Weird.
That was going to be my next
Right.
go-to question. Like,
Right.
I'm a big fan of Expedition Bigfoot, which their new season is kicking off tonight. But don't stay here.
But
hang out with us.
Don't go anywhere.
Watch it later.
They rerun it.
But even like you got Maria on there, who's like primatologist, scientist, supreme, and
Sure.
she comes across things that even she can't explain. So like You get the orbs. They catch the orbs on film. That crazy ass shadow, whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Shadow that
I
moves
don't know
in
what's
the
up with that
canyon.
one, dude. Yeah, I was like, is that a cameraman or like what's going on there, dude?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. And the fact that it's all in like, it's all melded together with all of this Bigfoot activity, just like it just melts my brain.
Yeah. And also another thing that I have no idea how to explain away is all the stories you get from the Chestnut Ridge in Pennsylvania in the southwest corner, where it's like, okay, there is a UFO sighting and then a Bigfoot sighting, or a UFO sighting and the Bigfoot are there too. It's like, I don't know how to explain that away, man. So
Yeah, I've
See,
read
this
across.
just makes me appreciate Bigfoot that much more. The fact that I like woo woo, so
Mhm.
I like the fact that there is. I mean, I could totally get behind the idea that it's a primate that has just evaded us, because there's been a whole lot of evidence here of late come out about how NASA or whomever has just pulled fucking megalodon out of the ocean.
Word.
So, you take that in consideration and run that to Bigfoot. Dude, I think it's possible. And there's tons of places all throughout the wilderness that we don't go, because people
First step,
forget
for
how
sure.
big those forests and shit are. We don't
Oh,
we
yeah.
can't even comprehend how big they are. Right?
100%.
So I can definitely see that aspect of it, but I love that there's so much mystery around Bigfoot. Like you're saying, like controlling orbs and being in
wild.
cahoots with ETs, or whether the ETs are hunting them, or whatever, or there's some type of bleed through in reality. I have no idea, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
I feel like it's one of the last great mysteries, you know? Well, that and the whole UFO aliens thing, but
Well.
forget those guys. They've got they get all the fun stuff. Like, come on, like give Bigfoot some disclosure, you know?
Oh wait, man, you want it on the back burner, because there's in the alien world right now.
You don't know who to believe at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's true.
everybody's calling bullshit on it now, and that all this disclosure is nothing more than a distraction and all this other stuff. So sometimes you want, like for you, Bigfoot is your gym. Sometimes you want your gym to yourself. You're like, no, I'm here.
Like your
This is
favorite
where
band.
I've always been, asshole. You guys, you goes back over there. You do your stuff over there.
Word.
Right? Like, I know it's good. I know it's good that Bigfoot becomes a little more mainstream for you, but sometimes you're like, I want it to myself. You're like, what's his face from Lord of the Rings?
I would love to see a congressional hearing on Bigfoot, though. How fun would that be? Oh,
dude, I
man.
think it would happen. I think
it'd be wild. And have like Cliff Barrickman there and maybe Micah Hanks, and it would be a wild time, dude.
It makes you wonder how much information they have on it that they just keep locked away.
I'll bet money they know about it. Bet money.
Absolutely.
And then we've heard them stories. Jeremiah, you might know better than me. Wasn't there a place where they had a giant fire on the mountain and they recovered a shitload of bodies? Bigfoot bodies?
So you're talking about the story that keeps getting tossed around, probably the Mount St. Helens eruption, maybe
that was it.
I think there's a similar version of that has gone around now with all the fires going on in the Pacific Northwest, but the main version of that is the Mount St. Helens erupted, and then I saw these black helicopters that were like carrying these tarps with like large bodies on them, and they were just going who knows where. Like that one always gets thrown around, but it's like you never can get any really concrete information or like talk to a person. It's just kind of like one of those campfire stories, right?
Yeah.
But now the new version of that is like, all the fires during the Pacific Northwest, and then the one version I heard was like all of a sudden, these black Suburbans came out of nowhere and loaded them up with bodies in a tarp and drove out of the burned area. And it's like, okay, I would love to talk to someone and get some concrete information, because like these keep getting passed around. Yeah.
like the man, because those stories, I'm sure for guys like you especially, but even for me and Steve, like you hear those stories and boy does it just light that fire under your ass where you're like, this is it. This is what I want to talk about. Let's go find this.
Absolutely.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think there's such a push to keep everything under wraps with Bigfoot? Curious your take on it.
Okay. So I feel that if, let's say, all of a sudden we have a undiscovered great ape that is all over or big wooded areas of the Pacific Northwest and California, and we're talking massive amounts of region, wooded areas, you know that it's going to mess with the logging industry. I think that's the stuff going on in the background where it's like, well, there's this stuff going on, but we don't want to lose all of our precious logging area because then we have to like make all these. You think the national parks are crazy now? Oh man, it would be like way more national park. It would be Bigfoot, Sasquatch parks, man. Be crazy. That's what I think.
That's where my mind goes too. It's all
Yeah.
It's a capitalism thing, you know. They're gonna have to.
Oh, absolutely.
If it becomes, especially if they are more similar to humans than we think they are, that brings a whole like morality into it. Like what rights do they have? You know. Now, if you go out and you shoot a Bigfoot, and it's almost like 90% human, like where does that fall?
And you know people will try that.
Oh yeah.
As soon as Bigfoot gets admitted to be real, there's going to be a handful of dudes that go, I want that fucking trophy on my wall.
Oh legit. Yeah.
They had stupid reality television shows like $10 million Bigfoot bounty and shit like that. But they put like, you can bring us a body, we're gonna pay you money.
Or Oklahoma, where it's like, here, you got your hunting license for Bigfoot.
Yeah,
like that's a thing, right?
And I think it's a capitalism thing, because then you'd have to, like, your logging industry get hit hard. Yeah, probably your oil industry that's way out in the middle of nowhere would get hit. All sorts of stuff like that. It'd be a big money loss. What was I gonna say? Oh, plugging a book that's not my book, but if anybody reads Albert Rosales, he has a series of books out called Humanoid Encounters, and they're awesome. He's got a whole big line of books. It's all it is encounters with humanoids, and he has I've read a couple in there where people have seen UFOs, and there have been Sasquatch-esque creatures in the UFOs. There's one in particular I remember reading, and this UFO passed overhead, and when it did, it was this teenage kid, if I remember correctly. When it passed overhead, it was translucent, you could see through it, and he saw two Sasquatch creatures operating this UFO. And there was some weird part to it. It was like the color was weird. It's like they were like a pastel color, like purple or some shit. I can't remember, but something that stood way out. But the fact that it was just two Sasquatch operating UFO, I was like, what in the hell?
Dang. That is wild. I'm gonna have to check that book out. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, if I remember which one. He's got a bunch. He documents stuff like from 0 AD up to like 2020, and he goes usually by decade.
Okay,
but some of them are a little longer. But they're pretty interesting. I got all kinds of, and he's got them like marked out. Like he's got different, like if they fall under this, it's like a alien encounter. If they fall under B, then it's like a lizard-esque humanoid encounter. And he's got the primate Sasquatch encounters in there as well.
Is that guy still alive, you think?
Rosales? I think so.
Oh man, that's the guy.
I can look.
That's the guy, dude.
Carry on.
You got it.
I get over here and I start like researching on the side.
Right.
Like, what's going on with Steve?
That's some funny stuff in the chat. My goodness, grape ape, dude. Hey, Tate's in the chat. What up,
I
dude?
saw him pop in there earlier.
See, I told you he's making sure I don't talk about the expedition that just happened. You said the
Dude.
CIA was coming, dude.
Your boy honored the NDA, man. He kept it
Lips
real.
sealed, buddy. Lips sealed.
Yep, he already denied access. It is what it is.
You have to let us know whenever that drops.
Oh yeah,
I'm
you'll know for
anxious
sure.
to watch.
You will know.
I don't know. Apparently, there's a lot of Albert Rosaleses. But anyway,
So what's been your favorite Bigfoot story, Jeremiah? Or at least one of the greats.
Well, okay, so like one of the classics. I always think it's funny how you've got like the whole. Well, oh man, there's a few. I do dig the Ape Canyon one where the miners go out and they pretty much get attacked in their cabin.
Yep, I've heard that one.
That one's pretty cool because you can dig deep into that. And I've talked to Mark Murcell a few times, who actually discovered the spot where Ape Canyon is, and he found artifacts in the ground. I think he found bullet casings, etc. So Mark Murcell was the guy who actually discovered that, no matter what TV says. I'll just leave that there. But I also like the Albert Osman one is fun. That's a fun one. It's kind of goofy how he gets carried away in his sleeping bag in the middle of the night, and that kind of came up during the expedition. Tate was making fun of me because I was out in a tent, and he's like, "Dude, you're gonna get wrapped up like a Albert Osman burrito. Squatch is gonna carry you away."
I hope that's part of the documentary. I really do.
It's kind of a funny thing. I can share a wild one that I heard.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. So this is a weird one. So this is like a guy that I tried to get him to come on the podcast a lot, but he would not get on. He's like, nope, but you can share it. Okay, fine. So this guy has he owned a remote 50-acre area in northern Maine, like way up by the Canadian border. And he was way out there. All they had was a trailer up on blocks that they were, staying in, and it was kind of way out there. Like they had to do their dishes down the stream and stuff. So the dude is doing his dishes down the stream one day. He looks up. This like hairy creature runs right in front of him across. He's like, "Whoa, what's that? I gotta get back to the trailer because this is not what I signed up for." Then after that, stuff started getting real wacky. Something was hitting the side of their trailer so hard that it got knocked off the blocks.
Wow.
And also, this is the freakiest one. This, if I experienced this next one, I would be like, game over. I'm out of there. So they started having like sticks left across the front of their trailer, or like where you would walk out the door and that area. But then one day they go out there and there was a bear head that was not attached to the rest of the bear.
Wow.
Sitting left right outside the door to their trailer. And that to me, I would be like, I'm out of here.
That's
100%.
Big flex.
Yeah, that's
Big
a
flex.
big flex for Bigfoot.
Bro, I was highly anticipating on you saying like a rabbit head.
No,
or something like that, because Steve has told me stories of those.
That's
of
top
like-
of the food chain, bitch. That's what
Oh,
that
yeah,
is.
that's like
Yeah.
I'm in it to win it, dude.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Do you still own the property?" He was like, "Nah, dude. I got out of there as quick as I could, and I moved down to I think he moved down to like South Carolina, Virginia." He was like, "There's no way I'm sticking away." I was like, "Yeah, that's a good point."
Dude, that's
one of the wildest things. I talked to a dude once, this guy named Ken Metzger in Montana. They find, so he's like one of the main Bigfoot dudes out there, but he knows all like the law enforcement guys that are way out. So he knows all like the missing people ish. Is there a Bigfoot connection? But he's found it was a grizzly bear with its neck broken. And like, what breaks the neck of a grizzly bear, dude? Like, it just can't be. You need thumbs usually to do that, right? Like, that's kind of wild, man. I don't know. That's
because I know a grizzly bear is so powerful that it can like smack a moose and break its back.
Yeah.
But that's a grizzly bear.
A bigger bear, maybe.
Yes, maybe.
I mean, that's the only thing that I got is a bigger bear, or
just swan diving off a cliff. I mean,
yeah.
Went for that crisp and
or I guess out of a tree. Yeah.
So, dude,
there you go.
Like, I get, man, my email is like, I get a solid, like, I would say probably 4 to 5 people daily now, because I've been doing this for like 5 years, just, primarily talking about Bigfoot, where it's like people are just sending crazy stuff all the time. It's like, I don't have the time to like talk to all these people.
It's a good problem to have.
It is.
Yes.
And it's most of them usually don't come on air because they get freaked out, but
isn't
the ones
that
that do. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Well, good, man. Be that source. Get all of them Bigfoot stories out there.
Yeah.
Because we need an unfiltered source, to be honest with you. Because me and Steve have heard so many stories of different organizations pulling details from these encounters. And
I
you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that.
You have to tell it how it is. And that's what I appreciate about you. Like you were talking about the manipulating the orbs and stuff like that. Like you have to tell it for what it is. You can't manipulate it to fit your own fucking purpose. You cannot do that.
Have you?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever spoken with Carter Bouchard?
I haven't. So I have a list that is like, as you can imagine, it's really long. But that is a name that it's come up by different people probably 3 times in the last year, because he's got a few books out about encounters, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I need to definitely talk to him. I've not talked to him.
We sat up next to him at the paranormal and metaphysical event in Kansas City last year and this year. But last year we were right next to him and we got to pick his brain. That dude has some evidence.
He's cool, man.
Some wild stuff. You need to get him. If you can reach out to him, I might still have his information somewhere, but I would definitely pull to get him on and talk to him, because he's got trail cam photos that are just like, he's got a photo of a hand right in front of the trail cam. Craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. It is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a professional at anything, but you look at it, you're like, that's a gorilla hand. It has to be. Like it looks just like a gorilla hand. God, and wild. Just like, and what I liked about him is he's super easy to talk to. Like he's very personable. Like he's just crazy easy to talk to. He's just one of the guys, and he's just like fucking Bigfoot, It's awesome.
Phrasing.
Well, yeah, not that way.
Okay. I mean, I just want, just in case.
I mean, he might be into that. That is the market these days.
We can confirm or deny.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but he's a really nice guy, and like I said, super easy to talk to.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he had some wild stories. I think didn't he tell us a story about something with like the predator being?
Ooh.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Something similar. I know he goes down to Shawnee in Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
A lot. He has a spot down there that he goes and investigates. Like it's his main area. If I remember right, he's got like he's got like a trade system with him and all kinds of stuff down there. Like
snap. That freaks me out when you do like the gift. Well,
gifting, yeah.
Or like it's more when you have it's your house and you leave food out constantly, because I've talked to some where it's like then they stopped leaving out the food, and then like the Bigfoot starts slapping the side of their house so hard. No, it's funny for a few seconds until you talk to the person and you see how like it's screwed up their life, and they're just, it's wild. Like this one dude I interviewed, he's like you guys want to see Bigfoot, which is crazy to me because I just want to go to sleep. Like it's messing with them so bad that like stuff is falling off the walls inside their house and down in Tennessee. It was wild, dude.
We've had people. Thanks, Bert, and shout out, Bud. We will not be at Van Meter this year. Like I said, my little sister's getting married that weekend, so priorities.
Yo, I'll be there, dude, buddy. Hope to see you there.
We've heard people have got a hold of us that say like it's a terrible experience too, like just having the knowledge that they exist, but also not essentially being able to share it or have anybody to validate it outside of what they saw. I guess just really eats away at people.
I'm not sure how I would react if I ever have the privilege of having a visual. Like I talk to a lot of people, and there's some people where like they just do not go back in the woods ever again. Or a gentleman I talked to in Alaska where he was in the Hatcher's Pass area. He was chased out of Hatcher's Pass by a Bigfoot through a boneyard. He will not go camping by himself ever again. He can't handle it, which is totally understandable. He has to be in groups of people, even if he doesn't know the other people. Like they have to be around. It's totally understandable.
Isn't that wild? Like,
yeah,
people who have lived their life in the woods, camping, hunting, they'll have these experiences and then they just shut it off. It's like a form of PTSD.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? And I'm not now the dude who gets chased by him. Okay, I could understand that. That's terrifying. But why do you think it is when these people just see it, just catch a visual of it? Why do you think that scares them so much? Because I think for me personally, seeing a grizzly bear is terrifying, right? If it's within proximity that it could just rip you in half.
So a lot of people will say that that it looks so similar in a way. It has a human-like face, which is weird, and that's a lot of reasons why guys will not pull the trigger. Usually, it's even down in Area X. I think it's because of the paradigm shift that happens when you see something like that, and it just like it totally messes with your head. That's what I'm guessing because I haven't experienced it, but it's just like I don't know what to think about this now. The way I view my entire life has totally shifted, and I don't know.
I could see that.
Everything changes.
Darth here makes a good, it basically sums up what you're saying because they're not supposed to exist.
Yep, totally.
And I get that. I totally get that.
I think again, another. Oh, sorry.
For someone like you, does that still apply?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Because all three of us here can, I mean, I can wholeheartedly say that I believe in Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, like I've always said, there's this thing where you believe in it, but it's completely different from actually experiencing it. Two completely different things.
You're trying to be sneaky. You're trying to get stuff about last week.
No.
Kyle is so sneaky because it almost worked.
No. I'm just curious if it changed for you. Like if you had that encounter, would that change for you? Would it give you that form of PTSD where you say, "Fuck this! I'm never going back in the woods again"? And let's just pretend it is just a sight. You look over, you see Bigfoot, he sees you back.
If it was just a sight, and this is really hard because haven't had this happen, but I don't think that I would be like, okay, I'm walking away from everything just by having a sight, because you're still able to kind of disassociate during that. I feel like, especially if it's like, not super close to you. Now, if it's like, I'll mention something that this is from an episode I haven't released yet, but a gentleman who got chased out of the San Gabriels in Southern California back to his car, and then the Bigfoot started messing with him and trying to get inside his car, and like,
Wow.
dude, just wait. And the dude had like a hatchet and pretty much like took it to the Squatch, and that's the only way he got away. That's coming out eventually. I know. Jeez.
he's keeping an eye, man.
I'm telling you, he's still here. He's like,
He's got it
I'm
on
not
lock.
going anywhere.
What else?
So I can tell what I experienced, not this year but the year before. We were in camp and we had a tree pushed over in the woods in front of us, a few hundred yards in front of us in the woods. We had some knocks happen. I had an audio recorder that it was 3:45 in the morning around there, and it captured some knocks, and then the sound of it's a zipper sound. And I always translated that as something will unzip my tent. Now, based on talking to some local researchers, really recent, they have heard a zipper noise in the woods when they've been researching Bigfoot, and they've captured that on audio. So then that's another question. Was it maybe some mimicry going on from a Bigfoot making the zipper noise because they've heard it in that campsite before? It's just one question leads to another question, right?
That is so weird.
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying because that puts it in a whole new camp if it's able to mimic things.
Oh, that happens all the time, dude. Like if you hear something they'll hear in the PNW, I think Cliff has mentioned this, where they'll hear the sound of a car door slamming in the woods, way far away from where there are no cars or car doors, man. It's just really weird.
A bunch of LBL, Land Between the Lakes encounters you hear of the dog man essentially there, but you'll hear people hearing like metal garage doors opening, screeching and opening before they see it. When we went to the Dogman conference, they were talking about that too. That's so weird.
So Jeremiah, do you think Bigfoot has the ability then to mimic our voices? Has there been any stories like that you've heard?
Kyle, that's a good question, Kyle.
That was
because that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
As
okay.
far as like that's terrifying because that puts it in the camp with like the Wendigo and the Skinwalker. Like it paints a whole new fucking picture to Bigfoot. So
the way that I interpret that is, and I personally feel like the Sierra sounds are legit. Where Ron Moorhead, out in California, was able to capture the vocals of Sasquatch, which are just sound super weird as all get out, but that has also been heard in other parts of the US. And I think there's some sort of voice mimicry there where they can, maybe talk or mimic talk similar to humans. I guess that's a little different than what you were asking. So I'm trying to think real quick if I've gotten reports where can they actually mimic a voice. The closest to that is sometimes you hear of baby cries in the woods.
Gross.
And that freaks me out. Like I know this came up in STM's different Alaska documentaries up in Area A. And it's just like they were hearing weird noises similar to baby cry. And that's weird, man. I don't know how I feel about that. I know some researchers actually play baby cries, and I haven't been able to bring myself to do it because that sets off some weird stuff. Yeah, that was a good comment, Tate. I saw that. Yeah,
absolutely not. I am not playing baby cries.
No, dude, because that sets off other predators too, I think.
Yeah. What if you call in something you don't want to call in? It's not a Bigfoot. I was going to ask if your take on the Sierra sounds, because if you listen to those, there are parts of that sound very human, very human. and then it just wanes off into something that is absolutely not human. It's crazy.
I can say from what I've heard, they are highly effective.
Great.
Yeah.
Jeremiah's talking to big feet.
Yeah.
That's gonna make some good podcast right there if you're talking
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
We've I know down, like I've talked about it on I may have done that on accident. Sorry there.
Burton was like owl in the chat. That's hilarious.
Where my parents live is down in the Illinois river bottoms along the Great River Road on the bluffs and stuff. And
yeah.
the Finding Bigfoot did a town hall at Pierre Marquette State Park. We've seen people send us in tracks and shit from there, but down where my parents live, there's been some weird activity. One day I was out, it was probably midnight or so. I was leaving my parents' house. We were just hanging out. And as I was walking out up on the bluffs, which is all just woodland, and there's some farmland behind it, but I heard a whistle. It was just a one-note whistle. And I was standing there listening to it, and it was moving further down the bluffs through all of the woods. So I whistled back, which everybody says don't ever whistle in the woods, And then it started moving closer to me the more that I whistled toward it. That was kind of the only encounter that happened at that particular time. But then later on, my little brother was leaving my mom's house, and it was probably 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, man, I heard something up in the woods. He's like, it was the weirdest thing. It sounded like a deep voice person yelling Yahoo in the woods.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's bizarre. And then my dad, he had taken my boys fishing. So he had like a 2-pound bait bucket of stink bait in the back of his truck with the tailgate up, and he had a big 4x4 over top of it so the lid wouldn't blow off and stuff. He went out the next day to go get the mail and stuff, and he started smelling the stink bait. He's like, well, that's weird. He went out there, and the big 4x4 was moved, and the stink bait bucket was completely gone. He didn't see it. It wasn't knocked out of the truck. It wasn't down the driveway. Completely gone. But he could still smell it in the area.
Ooh.
So it's I don't know, man. It's weird. My little cousin had got some weird vocalization. It's not very good quality, but it's at the exact same area at my grandparents' house. I'll have to see if I can find it, see if I can play it through.
Is Southern Illinois, you said?
Yeah.
Is that like Little Egypt area?
Further north. It's kind of like, it's pretty much middle Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
So right across from it's Iowa. If you just go east from St. Louis, the River Road runs right.
Peoria?
Is Peoria north of us?
Yeah, Peoria's north.
Yeah, so it's probably like right between St. Louis and Peoria.
Yeah.
Dude, so here's the thing. I talked to a gentleman a few episodes back. That area, like Peoria and then northeast of Peoria, he had seen a few Bigfoot in the late 70s, but then I kind of started looking into it. That whole area has a ton of Bigfoot activity, and you wouldn't think it would, but like there's some wild stuff that goes on in that area you're referring to. It's crazy.
We had a picture from a track from Pierre Marquette that's a pretty good track. I'm not sure if I still have it or not, but it was taken a few years ago. I'm gonna assume probably 2015 or 2016. There's a couple BFRO reports actually on the books from about the same area. But it's weird, man.
Totes weird. It's weird enough to keep you coming back for more.
I know.
What I mean?
Me and Kyle's been flirting with the idea of just going out and traipsing through the bluffs to see.
I want to go out by your mom's.
Yeah.
Go there and then go up by the rock field where the Watchers are.
Yeah, that's another thing.
The Watchers.
That's what Steve dubbed them.
We
It's
have
like California, right?
I don't.
They're not the same thing, but it's whatever Steve experiences when he's up there.
I've never seen them, right? But I always used to traipse around the woods forever when I was younger. and I would get these weird feelings, and something would match my pace in the woods. Like you could hear it. It would just be set off enough. I would move, it would move. I would move, it would move. Because I'd walk through the fields, and I collect arrowheads, and I'd be looking for arrowheads up there. So I'd be in the field, not making any noise or anything, but you'd hear it off in the woods. I'd move, it would move. When I'd stop, it'd stop. And I just kind of dubbed it the Watcher because it just hung out there. You'd always feel like somebody was up there with you. It was pretty bizarre. I think I found this audio. Let me see if I can play it through the mic. It's probably gonna be trash. All right. Rewind it. I don't know how good that came through. It was kind of.
That's kind of weird. What time of day?
It was after dark. So they were down. My little cousin was down working on a truck, and he had heard it. It had made multiple calls, and he got his phone out. He catches the last portion of one, and then that one called right after it.
I'm not sure. The only thing I will say is that I've heard something similar to that where, okay, sometimes foxes will sound like demon creatures from beyond. Like
that was one of the ones we were flirting with. Like maybe
yeah,
it was a fox as well.
Like they sound terrible sometimes, but I don't know, man. That's weird. That's a weird one.
Yeah. There was also a story. Man, what is the? It was up around Girard, Kyle. There's a town north of Girard. I can't ever remember it, but there was a story in the early 2000s about a family up there.
Verdon, is it?
It might have been.
I think Verdon's north. I don't remember.
They had a little apple orchard in their backyard, and they were coming out to their apple trees being picked clean. And after that, they would find heads of rabbits were left in their yard. So when the apples would be gone, there would be a head of a rabbit, almost like a exchange, you know. They were having a swimming pool put in, and the workers were taking a rest underneath the apple tree, and they found a pretty good size footprint up that way, which isn't too far. It's probably maybe an hour north of us.
So there's one thing that so you said they were putting a pool in?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Whenever I hear a story or a report where it's like, we were doing this crazy construction around the house, or we were clearing brush, or we were putting this in or that in, that could be, that's usually a thing where it makes me take notice, because sometimes when you're clearing out stuff around your property, that can set Bigfoot off, because pretty much you're starting to mess with his environment, right? And that can, I've heard plenty of reports where it's like, well, we took a brush hog and we were just clearing brush everywhere on the property, and then all of a sudden this Bigfoot came out of nowhere and just tried to kill us. It's like, well, yeah, dude.
He was probably there first off.
That'll happen, dude.
That would suck, to have a Bigfoot violently come after you.
Yeah. Not the best.
No, not at all. Have you had many stories where Bigfoot's been kind to people?
Let me think for a minute.
Yep, John's right. It was Chatham.
I think there was a gentleman I talked to once from Oregon, William Morris, and he will say himself that it was more, he's more on the woo side, probably pretty far out woo is how he would say it. But there was a lot of stories about, gifting back and forth, I believe. But man, it really does, that stuff doesn't come out a lot. It's usually the ones I get are like, hey, I haven't talked about this for like 20 or 30 years. And I feel like, I'm retired now. I can finally talk about this thing I encountered. But yeah, I don't get a lot of like Harry and the Hendersons. Not really anything like
weird.
that.
That was a
Yeah,
good
it is weird.
question.
Yeah.
I know we talk about Ghost Hunter Dave a lot. He has been to some terrifying places in Illinois and across the country. But he's like, we talk about Cemetery X and him dealing with what he calls the Watcher up there, whatever this thing is that's coming through the portals and all this. But he said one of the scariest moments he's ever had, blows all those out of the water, is the time, which is almost in the same area where we are, when he saw what he believes is a Sasquatch. And he said it was the most terrifying experience that he had. He said it was just so huge. Like if it wanted to hurt him or kill him, he said it could have.
Absolutely.
He was walking in a creek bed, and he said it was up on the bank. And he said it was massive. It was so broad. He said it was just kind of almost like trying to mimic a tree as it was swaying, as it was standing there, kind of watching him.
Yep.
He said he has never been that terrified as he was when he saw that. I think he went on Sasquatch Chronicles. I think Wes had him on there.
I think I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it, yeah, especially coming from a guy who like goes into abandoned insane asylums and all kinds of shit like that. Like,
I can never do that, dude.
to hear him say the
No way.
scariest moment would be whenever he saw Sasquatches.
Yeah, and like he's
saying
like Steve
something in
said,
my
he saw that crazy shit at X,
Yeah,
and he didn't leave like like a bunch of really good equipment there, and just
like $500 worth of
just
investigative
scattered.
Oh
equipment.
yeah, I remember you guys talk. Okay,
and,
yeah.
Still, this Bigfoot encounter trumps it. And I guess it would freak you out, especially if it was sitting there just swaying at you. I wouldn't know
And
what it's getting ready to do at that point.
I think something about it being like a physical creature, being physically there, poses like almost a more substantial threat than something metaphysical, maybe. I don't know. It's a weird conundrum there.
Because it's I mean, it could literally like kill you. Like, like it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. If I don't like the ghost stuff myself, I'm like, ugh. I'm a wuss. I tap out at signs. That's the scariest I go, man.
Yeah. We've had what were some of the calls we had in? The guy, the dude in the military that had it on thermal from his helicopter.
Whoa.
One of the coolest Bigfoot
Dude,
stories I've
so
ever
good.
fucking
I'll have
heard.
to find the episode he
Man.
called in.
It was on night
And-
shift.
Yeah,
Nice.
he had it in. He said where were they? Some base in California, I think. I can't recall right off the rip, but he had it in his sights on his helicopter, and he got on the radio. He's like, we could just throw some bullets at it, and we'll have an answer. And they immediately shut
we
him
sent
up.
some 30 mics at it, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Oh,
shut the fuck up.
They're
Get
like,
off the radio.
he's like permission to take the shot, and he's
Oh, yeah.
just wait. And they're like, no, don't
Yeah.
take the shot. Oh,
They
that's
said
awesome.
they said don't even talk about this shit on the radio. Period.
He
The
said-
end.
He said there were suits waiting for him when they got back.
Oh, that's rock and roll, dude. I love that, man.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
awesome. The coolest fucking. It's on our Instagram feed somewhere.
All right.
I
I'll
put
try to
it on
track it
there a
down.
while back. But dude, such a cool story.
That's a
And
good
I
one.
think we had somebody else talk about him that was in the military as well, who had a
Oh, it was one not too
encounter
long
with Bigfoot.
ago,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, they were doing training, and he saw it, and it was, I don't know if he saw it, but he heard it like rush him through the trees, like
Mm.
kind of
Yeah,
that.
because
Like,
they were training
bluff.
with blanks and stuff, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
Wild.
I love it though. I love hearing the weird stuff, man. It is so awesome.
That's it, man. That's it.
It's
You guys
so
you
cool.
guys are killing it. Like next version, like next generation Art Bell, dude.
Oh man, that would
That's
be
that's how I
big
think of night
shoes, big
shift, dude.
shoes.
that is massive shoes.
Yeah,
Massive shoes.
you guys are doing it though.
We just want to give people a spot so they can come talk about
Yep.
their experiences and not have to worry about being ridiculed or having any kind of insecurities about it. I feel the more we can alter the culture, I guess, the more comfortable it makes for people to come on shows, come on and talk about it, not have to sit on all these sightings forever and take them to their grave. Because I mean, I feel like that's the best kind of disclosure we're going to have is from people that have had one-on-one personal encounters, with everything, Bigfoot, UFOs, the whole gamut.
Oh yeah.
And that's why, like I was telling you, Jeremiah, why it's important to have people like you that don't alter the narrative when you get those submissions. Because it just does a disservice to everything that everybody's ever worked for. Because, like Steve has said to me before, all it does is further muddy the water.
Exactly.
It just starts to make things so out of control that you're not getting the whole truth. You're getting it's no different than assholes wanting to control the narrative of our history or anything else. You're controlling it to fit your agenda, and you can't do that. You just can't.
Mm-hmm. Dude, word.
I like to see people that have an appreciation for the weird, because that's just kind of how me and Steve, we like the weird, man. And it's weird to like the weird.
It's
we need to make it less
cool.
weird.
Yeah. I think over the last few years though, it has really become a lot more acceptable.
Oh yeah.
To be like, oh, I'm totally into weird stuff. I think that ever since the Voldemort times of 2020, that must not be named. I think it like people are kind of like, oh, we lived through that. I don't really care if you're into weird stuff. We're still here. We're hanging out. High five. You can be weird. I can be weird. Whatever.
Yeah.
I
agree. I think that's when a lot of it started, dude. Which is great. Yeah. It's awesome that people are at least entertaining it at this point. They don't have to 100% believe, but the fact that they're starting to entertain it is awesome.
Yep.
So I can 100% appreciate that. But it is weird. It's still weird. You see that random person that never in a million years you think they were into weird shit, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about Bigfoot?"
I love it,
bro.
As a matter of fact,
it's crazy. It's crazy once people start to realize you're the one around into Bigfoot. Like you get some wild stuff.
I can
come across
Just
your
kick
lap.
that door right open. Just let it
yeah,
flow.
dude.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
Like around town, me and Steve are ghosts, dude. We don't exist around our hometown,
Nice.
which I can fucking appreciate. I'm not trying to be famous.
We'll get the occasional one off.
Yeah. On the occasion you get spotted and people,
I got it way more at work once they figured out I had a podcast and people started tuning into it. Like we got flat earth guys at work and it just kind of went off the rails. But I gotta ask before we get into it too much, we know your stance on the old Squatcher. What about aliens? Where you at on that?
Oh boy. I don't know. Like it's seriously something where like it's in the back of my mind and it's like obviously there's something there that I have to deal with, but I don't know. I haven't actually taken the time to like be like, how is my worldview and paradigm going to work with this? Because eventually I'm going to have that paradigm shift. So I've been trying to like focus on Bigfoot instead, because that's more easy for me to like wrap my mind around. But it's like every day in like all these congressional hearings, it's like more and more. Yes, there is, dude, there's something crazy out there. And then like you hear the stuff that these senators are being told, and they're coming out and they're like, yeah, we're in trouble. Like they have weapons that can just like decimate everything and we won't be able to stop them. I think that was like Senator Burchett that said that. And that's wild because these are like elected officials in government that are like, hey, this is what's going on.
That sucks.
And so many people are talking. It's like, you can't shut up everyone anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how to deal with it, honestly,
Terrible.
guys. So I just distract myself with Bigfoot.
It gets heavy. It gets heavy when you like Bigfoot itself can get heavy, but you get into like the weird ethereal stuff, like interdimensional shit or
Yeah.
demonic stuff and aliens and shit. Like sometimes you just have to step back. You just have to take a break.
Yeah.
Put it
Here's
all
what
away. Put it all away for a couple weeks. And
Here's what I see happening, though, is probably what will happen, which is, I know totally, this is going to be totally like 90s movie version, but what's going to happen is going to be like the aliens will come and it'll be like the countries of the world are just going to be like, all right, I know we hate each other, but now we've got to, Starship Troopers against the aliens.
Reagan's been pushing that. Reagan was pushing that
Yeah.
decades ago.
Oh, that's true. He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
We need some sort of off-planet enemy to bring us all together for
For the
one
NWO.
world government.
Yeah.
NWO.
Nice
Project,
try, Ronald.
Project Blue Beam.
Yeah. It's a good thing that anything with .gov sucks. I don't trust none of it. So you ain't getting my vote, son. I'm gonna be out in the woods with my buddies. You guys can go do your own fucking
looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Red Dawn style. Red Dawn
Right.
style.
That's right. I ain't fucking picking their side. Get out of here. Ain't no way. Because I know what their plans are. Their plans would be like, Kyle, you run over this way. This is the plan. You're like, all right, cool. And then as you're running away, they look to their buddies and like, all right, now we're gonna go this way because those guys are gonna get fucked up, and we're gonna be safe going this way.
They aim their direct energy weapons right on Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
It's exactly what would happen.
Hope you're wearing blue, dude.
Yeah, no shit.
That's why I'm wearing it right now. Look at this.
There you ain't getting hit.
Planning ahead.
I'm ready
that's
to go.
awesome. That is awesome. Well, what do you boys think? You want to open the lines for a little bit, see what we can drag in?
Chat, you
dare?
ready? You ready,
See what we can
chat?
drag in. I know we had a couple phone calls earlier.
You gotta be patient. You gotta be patient.
I know they're always biting at the bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the phone is hot. Call us, tell us something weird.
It's an actual
out.
phone.
Yeah.
I've always wanted. It's an actual phone. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yep, I just added it to my phone plan.
wow. Good for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that much to add an extra line. And I just got the cheapest phone possible. So
Was it like a flip phone?
no, it's an iPhone,
okay.
but it's the cheapest one that they had.
Nice.
So, yeah, I just figured it'd be easier because all we were doing the online voicemail shit, and it just seemed like it's a bigger headache than it needed to be. And I was like, well, just do the phone, man. Who cares? Plus, you can ask Steve. I'm not afraid to spend money when it comes to things I enjoy. It just kind of is what it is. I'll spend money that I don't have.
Yeah.
How's making it rain?
What is money really?
I just get too excited.
Money's fake. Space is fake. Bigfoots are Nephilim. Necro's in the chat. Space is fake and Bigfoot are the Nephilim.
That's
Let's
a great
go.
T-shirt, dude. Make that T-shirt.
Let's go.
Oh,
I saw some since we're waiting because it seems like it's going to be a dead night because
Everybody's
nobody's
scared
calling
now.
now. But I saw a weird theory that I'll run by
Okay.
you until we get a possible phone call here. What are you guys' thoughts on nukes? Never mind, somebody's calling,
that's a government
I
saying.
mean, we
"Shut the
got
fuck up
'em,
about me."
right? All right, here we go. Welcome to the night shift. What's going on?
Yo,
Hey, what's up?
What's
It's
up?
Lacey Mariposa.
Hey, how you
what's
doing?
up?
Hey, I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
So, I wanted to tell y'all somebody else's story that I heard about today.
Okay.
I met somebody at the beach, and she was telling me about how she got in a car crash. and she was driving down the road. It was 11 p.m. on like a Tuesday night, way out in the country. It was raining, and a deer jumped out in front of her, and she swerved, and she broke every freaking bone in her body, guys. Like her shit was wrecked. Like her femurs and she had a stump like through her abdomen or something. And she starts crawling away. She's like, oh my God, I gotta get help. Nobody's here. It's 11 p.m. in the middle of nowhere. And she's crawling away. She can't see anything because it's super dark. And she told me she heard a voice clear as day say, wrong way. And so she started going the other way, and it turns out the way that she was originally crawling, she was crawling into the woods. But something spoke to her and told her that she was going the wrong way. So she turned around and eventually got help. And I got chills when this random lady on the beach told me that. So I just want to share that with y'all.
That's much appreciated, and that is an
Yeah.
insane experience. Were you talking to the lady that it happened to?
Yeah. Turns out she goes to my church. Like we just
Dude.
met and started talking, and she goes to my church, and somehow that came up. So
That is so
I
weird.
just thought it was really cool.
Shout out to the voice beckoning her
Yeah.
back.
Dude,
'Cause
that's
Yeah,
that could have been
so.
so bad. That could have been so
Yeah,
bad.
she was just crawling into the woods, guys. Like it was flooded. Her car was flooded, so like the headlight was completely under because it was in a ditch.
That is
So she couldn't
insane.
see anything. So she was just crawling into the woods like she would have got eaten up. So
Wow.
That is
anyway, I
wild.
just thought it was really. I got chills when she told me that, y'all.
I bet.
Yeah, that is.
So
Makes you wonder, like,
anyway,
is this some sort of guardian angel or
yeah, like who told her that? That's what I was thinking.
somebody looking out for
she-
her, for sure?
And she said she had a near-death experience during that, obviously. And she said she saw the faces of people, but she couldn't see their faces super clearly. But they were very like present. And she said she called them the Browns, which I'd never heard of them that way before. But she said, I don't know how else to describe them except the Browns. And I was super confused about what she meant, but she had some kind of experience. She was like, heaven is real. I saw it, like I was there. I had the choice to go back, and I regret that I didn't go that way and stay there because life was really horrible recovering from that.
Oh, I bet.
So
Man.
That's not cool.
yeah. It's I mean, that's a rough time.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
It took years for her to even take a step. So anyway, but she's doing way better. That was a long time ago, but I just thought that was a really cool story when she said that she heard that voice say wrong way. It just gave me chills, guys. So I thought everybody else might like to hear that story that wasn't mine. So I'm not going to hold up the line for too long, but shout out to the Hollow Occult. I love y'all.
Awesome. Thank you much.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, guys.
It does kind of give you a little bit of hope that maybe someone is watching out for us
100%.
when you hear stories like that.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure, man.
And what she experienced there, that the NDE with seeing the people around, that happens pretty often in those situations where they start to see. A lot of people will equate it to loved ones that have passed. They'll start seeing them and experiencing them like they're there. I don't know that I've heard that description. All right, let's go, my guy. I don't know that I've heard
The Browns.
the Browns before.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard that either.
So weird.
Makes you wonder those kind of experiences, if maybe they are from the amount of trauma that's going on. It's like, especially in that scenario where excessive amounts of physical trauma has happened. maybe it's your brain trying to just pull you out of the situation to where your body doesn't shut down, or where
be.
maybe your body's shutting down, but your brain won't shut down, just trying to keep it going long enough to make it till somebody finds you. But the fact that she was like crawling is
Oh, that's because she's certified
intense.
Rambo badass.
Yeah. Adrenaline like crazy,
on.
probably.
Dude. I couldn't imagine breaking. I've never broke one of my bones. I could not imagine breaking all of them.
I broke my leg, and I 0
Oh,
out of 10 don't recommend breaking your leg or every bone in your body for that matter.
Yeah, not fun.
No, I've never broke any bones, and I hope I never do.
Brother John in the chat said he was hearing wood knocked a couple of weeks ago down by the Brussels ferry. I've also heard, which isn't far from Pierre Marquette and
Okay.
all of that. I also heard that.
Oh yeah, John almost saw Bigfoot the other day. He's not sure what he saw.
I
He
heard
called me at work.
That's awesome. But
Yeah.
people were down fishing at the Brussels ferry, and something was essentially throwing rocks from the bluffs
Let's go
over the highway into the river, which is a pretty good trek. They were
Crazy.
night fishing, and they heard huge, like big size boulders being thrown from the bluffs
That's
over
crazy.
into the river.
You guys want to take another call?
Let's go.
All right. Hey, welcome to the night shift. What's going on?
Yo.
Hey boys, welcome to the danger zone.
Let's go.
Oh, pew
To the
pew.
danger zone.
Chucky Danger.
Coming in
What
hot.
up, Chuck?
So, I wanted to talk to you guys about my Sasquatch theory.
Okay.
And so it's a little bit different than what you would usually hear, okay? But I think since Sasquatch is generally considered a nocturnal animal or person, that they see in the ultraviolet spectrum. And so a lot of the plants and animals that you see at night will fluoresce in different colors that we don't normally see. And I think Sasquatch also interacts in this invisible to us world. And stuff, especially like with gifting, I think is culturally significant to Sasquatch, but we just don't pick up on it because we're blind to it. So like, if someone leaves out food for a Sasquatch and they get a couple rocks in return or a feather or whatnot, we might just see that as very mundane and not very important. But if you put a blacklight flashlight on them, they might fluoresce to look like glowing embers right out of a fire. They're called a euperlite, very specific type of rock. And even some types of bird feathers will fluoresce all kinds of different colors and patterns under the ultraviolet spectrum. And I think that Sasquatch definitely picks up on this and uses it to its own advantage.
That I'd never heard of
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah, I'd never heard
I haven't
of that.
heard it either.
And I
All
Yeah, it's a fairly new science, even for discovering like natural animals that use it. But I mean, for example, if you look at a flying squirrel, they're purely nocturnal. And what we see is a brown or black squirrel, right? But if you put it under the ultraviolet spectrum, it goes blue and pink and yellow, like all these crazy colors. It's just fucking wild. And I've been doing all kinds of studies on my own, like going out with this forensics quality flashlight. And you can actually see sugar and protein content in certain plants.
What?
Like,
I need some flashlights.
Doug Hychek from
Oh, yeah.
Monster Quest. He did a documentary on bears and caribou, and he discovered that they also see in the ultraviolet spectrum to see specifically the protein and sugar content in the plants. So they're not eating plants that are not nutritional enough for their diet.
What?
So like when you're watching a nature documentary and you see a bear browsing on the plant here, and then it walks off 20 yards and starts eating over here, it's not because it's like getting bored with the plants right beside it. It's looking for the most bang for its buck food. So
Totally
it's not
makes
wasting
sense.
any time or energy. Yeah, absolutely. And I think Sasquatch does the same thing to maintain that gigantic body mass.
Mm,
Yeah, I had never heard that, but
that is awesome.
when you put it into that perspective, it absolutely makes sense.
I need some UV
And
goggles.
If there's UV goggles, I need a pair.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go find me some
But
big feet.
but like I'm gonna set up a gifting site this fall,
Yes.
and
Awesome.
I'm not gonna do the food thing, right? I
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable with that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up a double blind study where I have rocks that I know for sure will fluoresce under the UV light, and others that won't. And if Sasquatch fucks around with the one that fluoresces and not the other ones, you know, that is a significant finding, right? And then if I can repeat that study, it would just go to show that that's how they interact with the world.
That's
But
awesome.
I think when people get these gifting sites, I think they're much more significant than they realize even.
Well, let me know if it works because I'm all about that life. I will gift it whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I
But I mean,
never-
like even like examples where like you hear about a rock getting placed in the walking path that you just crossed 10 minutes ago. That rock could even be fluorescing and you don't realize it. And like you hear about rocks getting thrown at people all the time. If they fluoresce, that would almost look like a tracer bullet to the Sasquatch. It's probably super entertaining for them.
I didn't think about that either. I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it.
I'm definitely with it.
I'd never heard of that before the studies or any of that. You do hear about things existing in the spectrums that we can't see, but I didn't ever think to put it into like such close range scientific studies, especially with like the plants and the nutrition and shit. It totally makes sense.
Well, everyone's always trying to like approach finding Sasquatch in a scientific manner, and you know, we forget about like some of the basic forensics about it. And I mean, just looking at what the other animals and plants in the environment interact with is a good part of the puzzle to figure out, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, if you're going to equate it to being an animal, you got to figure out what the other animals do.
Yep.
I don't know. My brain ain't that smart, but I believe you. That's all I'm gonna say. I believe you. Because I like it. I think it's a sound theory.
I think you should reach out to Doug with the findings of your when you go through everything and let him know what you found out, because I think he'd be really interested.
Yeah, absolutely. I know he's got some people that they're looking to use like the UV flashlights to look for the sebum, which is like the hand oils from Sasquatch.
Yep.
So like anytime you hear someone's trailer or house getting slapped, you could even just take that flashlight, go outside, and you could see that handprint on the wall. Like it's super simple science, and it's just not being utilized. It's not even being thought of because it's, you know, out of sight, out of mind.
How
Mhm.
terrifying would that
But I
be
think,
if you took your light out there and you shined it on your house and it was just hundreds of handprints,
Just covered.
like a
Oh,
luminol
so-
crime scene of just
It would
big,
be
like looking in your
terrifying to
window
see
and shit.
one Shaquille O'Neal sized hand out there.
Oh, that'd be awful.
well, I mean, Steve, even with your story about the stink bait bucket, if you put the flashlight on the outside of that bucket, you might see a giant handprint right there.
Bro, Steve, you got to get a UV flashlight now.
Bucket's gone, bro.
Find it.
too
Use
late.
your
dude.
sniffer. Use your sniffer. You said you could smell it.
There's some Sasquatch walking around with an empty bait bucket, probably full of apples or some shit.
I love it.
Rabbit heads,
But,
grizzly
man,
bear
like,
heads. I don't know.
the forest looks like Avatar world when you got the UV flashlight on it.
Oh, nice.
I've never even
So
thought of
much-
that.
So much mundane stuff that you don't even pay attention to just goes and like just pops with color when you get it under the flashlight.
I didn't even
like,
think about that.
Just lichen on the tree, it's like that dull green gray. When you hit it with the UV flashlight, it's like bright neon orange.
That's so
Man.
weird.
I feel like we got the raw end of the deal. Like we got self-awareness, but everybody else got all these like awesome UAV
Yeah.
visuals and shit. Like,
Man, I think we had these skills at one point because like anytime someone takes mushrooms, they see these colors, right? And that's just rewiring in your brain to activate unused portions, right? So we probably started off with UV vision, but we became so reliant on having a fire in your house every night that we didn't need the night vision anymore, right? UV vision is for like low light conditions, mostly. Or birds use it for a visual display that is far superior to what we can see with them. But yeah, I think we had it at one point in time. It's just we adapted out of it.
it makes sense.
Can see it.
You just don't need it anymore. Like
Yeah.
we have our own light.
And
Yep.
I mean, this UV thing even goes further than just Sasquatch. I think like when you talk about orbs, I mean, the typical description of them is a dull light going through the forest, like it doesn't shine very far around it. And if you think about that, that's probably UV light because it doesn't broadcast a large area around it when you're using it. So, you know, what if that is just a ball of UV light going through the forest? You'd see the color, sure, but it's not like illuminating 20 yards around it kind of thing.
Just man, I'm trying to wrap my brain around it since I'd never really considered it or heard about it before. It's like it opens up all sorts of probabilities.
Oh man, like it goes, this is a deep hole once you start thinking about the unseen world that we just can't fathom. I mean, we use it for security on our money. Like you put a UV flashlight on money and there's hidden pictures that you can't see with your naked eye. Like,
Wow.
where did the government get that from? They know something, right? Maybe we've been using it all along. And like, if you go over ancient artifacts with the UV light, maybe there's hidden writings on it. Maybe there's hidden pictures. I know there's some artifacts that come out of Mexico that when you hit them with the UV, they even phosphoresce. So even after you turn the light off, they'll stay lit up for a second or two.
I've heard of those.
Wow.
Yeah, they are flipping wild. I mean, they aren't recognized by the Mexican antiquities because they depict gray aliens, Egyptian, Sumerian, all kinds of different motifs that the Mexican government doesn't want to acknowledge. For one, because of the alien, but two, it would also maybe give those countries land claim on their country.
Dude, that's the most ridiculous theory. Like it's ridiculously awesome. It's so hard, like, because it makes you feel like you hit it on the head, like with the whole Avatar thing, like seeing all these insane lights in the middle of the forest like that visual in my head. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get it out of my head for a while.
I mean, it's all around us. I mean, just last weekend I went out to a friend's orchard, and I just wanted to see what the fruit would look like. And I took a picture of an apple, and it was like bright neon blue.
That's so weird.
And it was just a green apple, but it went neon blue, like sky neon blue, which totally bonkers.
Dude, I like it. I like it.
I'm gonna get one of those flashlights, dude. $10 on Amazon.
No, you need something better than just a party black light. You need like the friended quality, like
Okay, all right.
long wave black light.
Word.
But yeah, they are so much fun to fuck around with.
That's awesome, dude. I dig it.
I mean, I got a ton of this stuff on my Instagram that you can go and take a look at the pictures even.
I'll have to check it out.
Like, it's not every rock that will even fluoresce with this. It's just certain gases that are trapped in rocks that will fluoresce. And that's why I think there's a significance once Sasquatch gets involved with the rock. I think they're picking out the specific ones that will light up, not just, the first rock they come across.
It makes sense.
I agree.
Mm.
Like I said, I like it.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd call in and share my research findings and see what y'all think.
I think you're onto something, dude. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
All
with
right,
you.
guys, I'll let someone else call in. So
All right, brother.
take care, stay safe, stay weird.
You as well.
You betcha. Bye.
Appreciate you.
That was some big time knowledge drop in there.
For sure, dude.
I'd never heard.
No,
Anything
never would
even-
even thought. We run around with a high end UV light.
And it could open up so many different
A
waves
lot.
of investigation, essentially.
Is that would that be relatively close to the dude we was watching that time that had the goggles? Remember, you know what I'm talking about? You showed me that dude.
Yeah. The guy on TikTok?
Yep.
Dyson or whatever?
Yes, that's
Museum
it.
of-
Yeah,
That's it.
dude, that guy's wild, man.
Yep.
So what would that relatively be in the same realm, or is that a whole completely different?
I don't know,
I have
because
no
that guy
idea.
is like talking about seeing people's auras and stuff with it. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It would be cool to try out some of them goggles, though, right?
Oh,
We
dude,
almost bought a pair.
the Squatch goggles, man.
Almost bought a pair.
We should probably do that.
Yeah, you do.
Buy the goggles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We should also buy championship belts.
That's true.
Oh, I'm surprised you don't have those already, actually.
Oh,
Me
yeah.
too.
I don't know.
Steve can't pull the trigger. I could totally get behind it.
Maybe I'll just do it.
Are they personalized? Will they say Holosky on them?
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Definitely.
And if we, like I told Kyle, if we go to conferences, we have to defend the titles.
Yes. You have to wear them to the conference. Oh, man.
Oh, I guess I could do it.
And then if we wear them, then that means we have to get Adidas tracksuits
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
with
Entrance
Holosky
music.
embroidered in it. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll figure out the entrance music at some point.
We'll have to hire my little brother to do the pyro.
Yeah. Naturally. Naturally.
Oh.
That still blew my mind when you guys showed up at Van Meter. I was not expecting to see you dudes there. That was so cool.
We tend to not tell people what we're doing. We just show up.
Yeah, you just kind of
we
are
just
there.
wing it.
Yeah.
We just wing it. Where else
Yeah,
did we see?
we did it.
Crypticon?
We did it to Tony too.
Yeah, Crypticon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just tend to show up places. Just never
We're
know where
kinda
you're gonna see us.
fly by the seat of our pants kind of guys.
That too.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
Dude, if I get a UV light and I go down to my parents' house and there's Bigfoot handprints all over their
Bro.
house, I'm gonna leave is what I'm gonna do.
No, we're gonna go find Bigfoot.
Hmm.
That's what we're gonna do.
Let's cover you in UV paint.
Okay. I don't know, man. That sounds like a bad idea because the aliens go after that shit too.
Oh, for real?
Fuck yeah. What we do is the story on Dulce out there. And I think they're pretty much doing the same thing he was talking about. But they shined the back of cattle and some of them had UV marks on
I
their
do
back.
remember that.
Right?
Gross.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep.
What if it's just a Bigfoot out there hand slapping the cattle, scaring them, leaving his
Either way,
UV
it's
print?
That'd be kind of funny. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Just marking them.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, I don't know if I'm down for the whole cover me in UV and then I get abducted because I'm not trying to do that.
But if you do, you can do an episode from the UFO.
Touche.
That's
Touche.
good. I feel like that's good podcast. That's good podcasting. Makes
Oh,
good
yeah.
internet.
Yeah, I will definitely live stream it on Instagram at the very least.
What in the world is going on?
The chat's getting a little wild here. Let's think. I was trying to think of another Bigfoot experience I had. Oh, I did have one when I was I don't know if it's Bigfoot, but when I was camping with my youngest boy
Oh yeah,
in
you punched a
Missouri.
Bigfoot.
What?
It's a lot like your story, actually. So we were out camping at this secluded Boy Scout camp, and it was just tents. There wasn't hardly anything around for probably half a mile. But about 3:00 in the morning, I wake up from wood knocks out off pretty far away, but it's enough to wake me up. So I'm like, well, that's weird. I just made note of it in my head, and then I fell back asleep. My youngest boy loved Nutter Butters, so we had a bag of Nutter Butters, and they were sitting like next to the in the tent, but next to the tent wall. And I woke up with, I thought it was like a raccoon or a coyote or something, but I was half asleep, and it was something trying to push through the tent wall to get to the Nutter Butters. So I did what any sane sleepy person would do, and I just punched it, whatever it was. I don't know if it was a raccoon, I don't know if it was a Bigfoot, I don't know. I punched it, and I don't even remember the sound of it moving away. Like, I'm trying to rack my brain. Did it sound like it scurried? Did it sound like it was a 600-pound bipedal creature running away? Or whatever it was trying to get Nutter Butters.
Wow.
Like, I Bigfoot or a raccoon. I didn't want it in the tent, so I just went smack.
Do you punch the Bigfoot, man?
Maybe.
Pretty gangster.
Maybe.
All I know is that we had the Nutter Butters and it didn't. So
Right.
I won.
No, Virgil. There will be no insertion of anything.
The aliens already
Not
have a
happening.
tracker in them.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
Hmm?
That's probably true. I wouldn't argue that.
No. Well, they did until you washed it down the sink.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I roll the dice. I don't know if I punched a Bigfoot or not. I punched some woodland animal that was trying to steal my kids' cookies in the middle of the night. So
it deserved it, obviously.
I can't confirm that it was Bigfoot, but I can't deny it was Bigfoot.
Can you say where the Bigfoot camp, where the Boy Scout camp was?
Yeah, if I look it up.
I'm just curious.
Oh, man, it was... I think it was off of 44.
So you think it would be a bad idea to trade food with Bigfoot? That's like a no-go, right?
So, not the leaving food for Bigfoot is a no-go. It's the when you stop doing it. That's when that's the thing. So it's like, I feel it's better never to start that because eventually you will stop for some reason. And then that's when the games begin and it just goes downhill.
Maybe I'll buy some apples and start leaving them out at work. See if I can get anything. It's not my property, right?
It was, I don't know exactly where it was, but it was on 44, kind of southwest of St. Louis. It gets kind of
Okay.
real foresty down that way, past Eureka and Pacific. We were down
Yep.
there.
Nice.
I don't remember the name of the Boy Scout camp, but there's a big camp down there, and it's pretty foresty. And the knocks were a ways off, but it was enough to wake me up. And it was classic. It was in series of threes. I probably heard it 3 times. It's 3 knocks of threes. I'm like, well, we're at a Boy Scout camp. It could be just some kid fucking around. But, it also could be another butter stealing Sasquatch. So I don't know.
I hope that's the real culprit there.
Yeah.
Makes for a way more entertaining story.
Nutter butters are delicious, too.
I'm not saying they're not.
Like, as a father, I had to protect his favorite cookies.
Yes.
You know?
It's your duty.
Yeah. It's my paternal instinct to fight Bigfoot for my kids.
Punch
that and the fact that it woke you up, which is just grounds for that type of stuff.
Yeah. It was weird. I figured it was either a raccoon or like a coyote or something, but it could have been a squatch. I don't know. I don't know what squatches eat. Maybe it's a steady diet of nutter butters.
Sam
I bet they would,
dude.
I bet they would eat a nutter butter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you think Sasquatch eat roadkill? You think they're a scavenger-esque type of critter? Is this a taboo area to talk about Sasquatch eating?
I have never.
Courage?
Okay, so trying to think. So I have heard of sightings happen in what's the word? I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. Landfills.
Ah.
Yeah. Yes, landfill's the word. Thank you. I have heard of sightings happening in landfills before. I want to say, I think it was Oklahoma. I didn't get not a lot of details about it, but in regards to like dead stuff, I don't think I've ever heard of anything about like them eating roadkill or anything like that. Nothing that's come up to me so far.
I was just curious as to
Yeah,
whether or
that's
not
weird.
they were scavenger-esque.
I've
I
never.
was
never
gonna
heard of
say
it.
no, because I originally felt like Bigfoot was far too sophisticated for that type of behavior, but then Jeremiah informed me that they eat from dumps. So,
Well, I said they were seen in dumps, right?
Which is weird because the second military call, he said that there was a landfill in the area, remember?
Okay.
oh,
He
yeah.
was talking it wasn't too far from the landfill where they were doing their exercises. Interesting.
Want to take a phone call?
Sure.
Boop 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 boop.
Oh, we just missed it. Son of a gun. Call back.
No,
Call back.
get him back here.
I mean, Twiz has a point there. Bigfoot, they can eat whatever they want. Not
That's
my nutter
true.
butter, so.
You're not gonna stop him.
Yeah.
Sasquatch eat nukes. That's why aliens are seen around nuclear sites. They're just patrolling.
Man.
I can't
Guess
prove
at
it
this
wrong.
point, anything's possible. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, we did a Bigfoot story where there was one in a dumpster. I forgot about that.
Really
Yeah.
nice.
I forget a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, there's so much that we cover that get a little forgetful at times.
Yeah.
Call back Utah or Texas. Either one of you.
Oh, that's a really good question in the chat. Where
What's that?
it's like, what if a Sasquatch eats a deer with chronic wasting disease?
Ooh.
That's a really good. That's like the start of a zombie movie in a way, dude. Oh,
Oh.
man.
Hey, Utah's calling back.
That'd be awful.
Hey, welcome to the night shift. What's going on?
Yo.
Is this
Hey.
Steve or Kyle?
This is Kyle. What's going on?
It's Paco from
Hey.
Utah.
Hey, what's up?
What up?
Hey, I just want to tell you guys thanks for the stickers. It's Wednesday night, bro, and I didn't catch the whole night shift tonight, but I got a glimpse of it, and it was about Bigfoot,
Yeah, pretty much.
huh? So I was the one that called in 2 weeks ago about the last round of Bigfoot, and did you guys get a chance to look at that video?
Oh no, I did not. Slipped my mind.
Well, this goes out to the Holocult. So it's the geez, I'm embarrassing myself. It's the Hidden World is the episode, and the time lapse when you find the UFO, the UFOs, I guess you could say, is 39 seconds and or 39 minutes in and like 40 seconds in.
Write that
That
down.
goes out to the hall. Yeah, 39 minutes in to about 40 minutes in. You gotta look at it on a big screen TV. But when it comes to, we've all felt those weird. I guess I can't say we all, but when it comes to myself and feeling normal in the world, in the woods, and feeling not normal in the woods, I've only felt one time in my life, and that was when me and my buddy so I went on this quest to, you know how time's been lately where you're overwhelmed with life lately, and you kind of gotta rejuvenate yourself. And the only way I've been able to do that lately is trees and bushes and hiking and stuff. And anyways, I pushed out. I said, I'm gonna do this. I had this adventure in mind where I was gonna do it by myself. It was about 7 miles in, 7 miles out, and I was gonna do it by myself, but I decided to have my best friend Tanner come with me. And anyways, our first night in, he had his Labrador slash German wire hair with me. Excuse me, I've been drinking a little bit too much tonight, but it's all heartfelt. It's all heartfelt, and I was sleeping just fine. I'm a little bit deaf from my my work. I can't hear really well. We pitched it up hammocks 2 nights in, and we were sleeping in the bottom of this canyon, and his dog, just this pup, he started going off. That's what woke me up at first, and I was like, is it a squirrel? What is it? And he's like, yeah, it's probably just a squirrel. And it was like the third or fourth time I was like, dude, come on. He's like, I've been up this whole time, and he's a straightforward kid. Like he knows his shit. You know, like that's the reason why I told him come along with me. Is he's good with his navigation. I went on this quest just you know, as a heartfelt mission to find myself and shit. You know, it was like, no, dude. About the fourth time, before his dog even barked, he says, "Hey, called him," and that's what they would. That's what I go by is Calden, but a lot of people call me Paco. But he says, "Hey, I had just heard something huff behind your hammock." And I'm pretty deaf, like I said, and that's when I was on high alert. But anyways, yeah, it was pretty intense. We're in the middle of Utah, and can't say what it was or what it wasn't, but man, I tell you what, if you need to heal yourself, just try it and go on a fucking attempt in the woods by yourself. You know, and I pushed out. I think I'm gonna go in the next couple of weeks, but
Well, make sure you stay safe out there.
Absolutely.
well,
Don't drink so much when you're wandering out in the woods. Yeah.
Safety first.
that's the last thing I do is drink so much. That's the only place I can find myself sober is when I'm in the woods.
Well, you make sure you take care of yourself, man.
Hey, I'm sorry for calling in and being one of those weirdos calling for your shows. I didn't think you'd pick up. So
No, you're good, brother.
You're
you
good,
just make sure you take care of yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
can't wait to hear about the feedback from my homeboys. This is that blue collar crew from Utah.
Right on, brother.
Hell yeah, we saw the pictures of all the welding masks with the
Yeah.
hollow swag on it.
We're trucking along, bro. So
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
all right, man. You guys keep up what you do and appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay safe, brother.
Thanks, dude.
All right. I mean,
Dude, real talk.
yeah. Just take
Real-
care of yourself, brother.
Talk. Real talk. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna be able to top that one.
No, I don't think so either. And we're about 2 hours in.
I didn't even realize it was that.
I didn't either.
That far. But yes, we are going to wrap it up there. I hope Paco's morning isn't going to be rough tomorrow. It's not sounding promising.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, let everybody know where they can find all of your content and your research, my friend.
Heck yes. If you like listening to Bigfoot encounters, I talk to witnesses, they share their stories, all that good stuff. You can go to BigfootSocietyPodcast.com or you can search for Bigfoot Society on any major podcast platform and YouTube, Bigfoot Society. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to the moon, and it's just a good time. If you guys have any Bigfoot encounters you want to share, of course, call in to Night Shift first. 100%. Make sure the boys get it first. But then, maybe I have my email right there or right there. You could check out too. But call into the boys first every time.
Look at that. Out there putting on for the dudes, the Hollow Boys.
That's right.
I appreciate
Love
that.
Love it. Yes,
I
go check
appreciate
him
that.
out. Holocult. Show the love. He is grinding. He's putting in the work.
Oh yeah.
He's out. I mean, he's out looking for Bigfoot. Boots on the
We're
ground.
doing it, dude. Doing
Bigfoot
it.
Society boots on the ground.
Boom.
But thanks for hanging out with us. Again, support all of our content creator friends. Everybody in the chat, go help people that are out here trying to get the weird out. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay weird, check out the Bigfoot Society, and everybody send good vibes Paco's way because it's
Yeah, he's gonna need them in the
you
morning.
don't have a headache in the morning. I'm
Paco.
pretty sure.
Be safe. Thanks, Holo pals.
Thank you, our friend.